All right, so I grabbed my bottom portion of the pole. I have placed my the base on the floor, and I've kind of determined where I wanted to put it on my ceiling. Make sure that you have located a stud that that dome is going to fit on. All I'm going to do is going to take this base piece and screw it right in to the bottom portion of the pole and screw it right into that base piece. So that's step one. Okay, so step one is done. Step two, my ceilings are tall, so I'm going to need this extra portion. So when I unveiled or unwrapped the pole, you saw those two pieces. So I'm just going to screw these two pieces together because I'm going to need that height. And make sure that when you're placing a pole together, it's nice and tight and that there's no gap in between each portion. And then I'm going to take this and place it in here. Again, making sure that I get this nice and tight, that there's not a gap. I have put up my pole before and had to take it back down because I've left a gap there. So everything is nice and tight. So I've got my base, I've got the first piece, and then because I have tall ceilings, I had to add in this second piece. Some of you may or may not need this. Step one, base. Step two, that portion. Step three, if you need to add in that additional piece because of your ceilings, do that. Now, I know how tall my ceilings are, so I'm going to unscrew this a bit, just because when I get up there with the dome on top, I don't want to have to do all that work. So, and you can kind of determine like how tall you're going to need this piece. So see how I'm unscrewing this black portion? If your ceilings are nice and low, then this probably may be kind of flush, but this is how you adjust the height of the pole without using another extender. So let's see where I am, so I can go up just a little bit more. Remember, make room for the dome, because today I'm putting this up by myself, so I'm going to put the dome on last. You have two options. You can stick the dome on, I'll show you, and then place it on here, or you can take the dome up the ladder with you. It's completely up to you. Just make sure that you're safe. I would suggest doing this with someone, but because I'm filming alone today, I am going to take the dome up with me. Okay, so that is looking pretty good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, because I'm alone and I don't want any issues, I'm going to try to screw this on, because with the dome, it makes it more challenging because you have the extra weight and instability on the top of that dome. So I am screwing this all the way down, again, making sure that it's flush. All right, so looks pretty good. Now, all I'm going to do now is grab my ladder and the dome. So it's pretty stable there by itself. So I'm going to grab the dome and my ladder and meet you on top of the ladder. So I am on my ladder with my dome. All I'm going to do is tilt this a bit so I can get this dome on. Once I get the dome on, I can readjust. See, it just slides right down in there. So I'm going to take my pole back to where I originally had it, and then I'm just going to begin to tighten this pole. So I always remember righty-tighty, loosey-goosey, righty-tighty, loosey-goosey. So if you were to do this with somebody else, it actually, you could get this a little higher, you know, this black portion. You can measure it out a bit more and get a little higher because it's easier than to just put the pole up with the dome already on it. And you don't have to do so much of this screwing into the ceiling if you already have it kind of more adjusted. Now when I take this down, I won't loosen it, it won't take as long because this portion will already be there. So you'll feel it when the dome starts to attach to the ceiling, which is about to happen. At that point, you want to make sure that before you get it too tight, that you take a level or you have a good eye to figure out if the pole is straight. So before you get it too tight, I would come off of the ladder just to make sure. I think I need to go just a little bit one way. It's probably going to be hard for you to tell in the video, but so I'm going to loosen it up and then tighten it back up. There we go. So if I had a level, it would make things a lot easier. Okay, so I'm just going to tighten this up. Okay, see? Nice and tight. And then I'm just going to screw this up. Now, if I want to, I can take my toolkit and take one of my tools, put in here in that hole to tighten it. Okay, so all I'm doing is using this toolkit to tighten. Okay, once I get it as tight as I like it, then I'm going to screw this piece up. Now, nice and tight. Now earlier I talked about this black portion. So there in your kit is a hollow piece of pole that you just slide up, you attach here, and you screw it in. Okay? Some people will use it, other people will not. Especially in pole dancing, because if you go to the top of the pole, but in Polga we're never really on top of the pole. So I think it's basically just used for aesthetic purposes if you prefer to have this covered. And how to put that on your pole is actually in your manual. Okay? And to take it down, all I'm going to do is unscrew this. Start to loosen this up. Okay, and then I would just take the entire pole down and take it piece by piece off. And that is your installation of your pole.